Hey friend, welcome to my podcast, The Fit Soul. I'm your host, Amy Ramsey. In this podcast, we will be discussing soul-filled strategies to unleash your confidence, increase your energy, and all the things healthy lifestyle. If you're a Christian woman who is ready to reach your God-given potential, walk worthy of your calling with abundant joy and energy, girlfriend, you are in the right spot. I mean, you only have one life to live. You might as well maximize it. Buckle in, and thanks for listening. Welcome back to the podcast. Wow, today's interview, man, this one is really powerful. I am so excited to introduce to you my friend, Réal Andrews. And he is actually a LA celebrity. He shares a little bit about his journey of becoming an actor and some of the things that he went through. But his testimony, he got choked up. I got choked up. It's really, 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 really powerful. And we're also going to share with you something incredibly exciting that is coming up. I'm headed to LA in May to be a speaker at an event called Get Real, Take Action. Ladies, this one is for you. You have an opportunity to attend live or virtual. So I highly encourage you to grab your ticket for this. I'm going to leave a link in the show notes. I'm so excited for you to get to meet and know and love my friend, Réal Andrews. Enjoy. Oh, I'm so excited about this podcast, this recording today. Welcome, Réal Andrews, to the program. Yeah. I'm so excited.
Yay, I'm excited to be here as well. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, what an honor it is to have you. I met Réal through a mutual friend, Lisa Arundel, and I think you guys met online. You connected online some way.
Yeah, exactly.
And you are an exceptional and extraordinary man. And I'm so excited to have you here to share your story today. It's so inspirational and what you are doing in LA. And I mean, it's pretty cool. So first of all, you guys, Réal is a little bit of a celebrity and he's kind of humble. In fact, we were talking right before we hit record on this. He goes, yeah. When I did Oprah's, she asked for a list of questions and I was like, oh gosh, you're on Oprah. So
I was that back in the day, we were on there for the show, but yeah, at Oprah, we did Ellen. I did Family Feud, a week on Family Feud. That was fun. Yeah.
Oh, fun. Okay. Well, tell a little bit about what you do. You're a star on General Hospital for how long now?
28 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it kind of really is. We just celebrated as a show. Actually, we're celebrating this month 60 years. And I just turned 60 years. So that's kind of crazy, and I've been on it for 28 years. So almost half of the life of the show, which is, it really is crazy. It's cool. And I mean, I got blessed. I couldn't have been on a cooler show with a cooler time. It's just cool all around.
Well, tell everybody a little bit about your experiences in LA and maybe a little bit how you got started and how did you end up as a star? Because you started on several things. It's certainly not just General Hospital, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. General Hospital is my biggest claim to fame. But yeah, I've done hundreds and if not thousands. I've done a lot of stuff that we don't ever want to talk about, back in the day when you're starting out. There's stuff I would like to be able to get that film and burn it. But it's all part of the process. And, for me, it started, when I was 16. And it's kind of funny because I had no aspiration to be an actor at all. And actually, I was the jock, and I actually dated the drama queen. And, full transparency, I kind of joke because, I just used to think that acting thing was like stupid, dude. I used to go to like her drama rehearsals, and like I was only going because I was a 16-year-old kid. I was trying to get some action. And back in the day. So I'm just going to the like, but I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And then my aunt had an acting school, and she was like, hey, I'm having this special weekend. We got this big casting director coming in. There's going to be like, hundreds, if not thousands of people there. And she was trying to fill up the room at that point. And she said, like, would you like to come? I'll give you a free pass. I'm like, no, I'm not going. She goes, there's going to be a lot of girls there. And I go, so what time do I show up? So, so I kind of just went to meet girls. And they gave me the scene from Ordinary People with Timothy Hutton, that famous scene when he was talking with the girl. I did it, and the casting director was like, wow, you've got a real natural talent. And that kind of was the beginning. And then there came a movie called The Glitter Dome. It was The Glitter Dome with John Lithgow and oh man. Oh man, I could see him. It'll come back to me, but because I used to watch Rockford. Who was the guy on Rockford Files? Was my favorite show. That's the guy. Whoever that guy was on Rockford Files, the lead of that show, and they needed a young black actor for the
Yeah.
role. Where I grew up, I graduated from a class of 1800. I was the only African American, so there
Oh,
wasn't a lot of us in that area. And they literally went around to the high schools. They found three of us and asked us to
this is
come
in
on the
LA.
crew.
This is in
Yeah,
LA.
no, this was in Vancouver, Vancouver,
Oh,
Canada.
wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and this was in '81. And I got the part, and the rest was history. But it's funny, Amy, because it was '81, which wasn't too long ago. It's a bit of time ago. But in '81, later on, my mom, she collected everything. She had my call sheet. She had my original contract and everything. And it said my original name was Réal Johnson. So it said Réal Johnson, and the character said Black Boy. And that's what it said on the contract and everything. And that wouldn't fly today. But
No, no, no.
um and that's kind of how my career started, actually, because during that film, I had a stunt double, and he was white. It was because they didn't have, which is that would never fly. But so I remember I was sitting in the makeup chair. They're making me blacker because I'm not black enough for the role, right? And in walks this guy, and they say, "Hey, can you guys stand up back to back?" And I was like, yeah, I have no idea what's going on. This guy, we stand back to back, and they go, yeah, that'll work. That's perfect. And he goes away, and he comes back an hour later, and now he's black, and he has an afro on because I had an afro back then. And so that was, long story short, he was my stunt double. We became friends. And at the end of it, he said, hey, listen, have you ever thought of doing stunts? We got a lot of films. This is when Vancouver was becoming Hollywood North. We got a lot of films coming in. You'd work a lot, dude, because there's always, black actors that we need to double and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, sure, why not?
And
And
you're 16 years old at this time.
mhm.
Wow. Okay.
And that's when it started. And I did all kind of stuff. What took me to Hollywood which is kind of a lot of who I am. I was actually an extra on a film, a different film. It was Space Hunter 3D with Peter Strauss and Molly Ringwald, and I was like some big extra, like one of these crazy monster guys. And I was sitting at lunch one day, and the extra sat over here, like, because we're like the bottom of the barrel. And the crew was over there, and some of the actors, the lead actors, were over here, and they were talking about Hollywood and how cool it was, and the big lights and the red carpets and all that. And I just blurted out, I said, I'm going to go to Hollywood one day and become a successful actor. And this guy looked at me, and the whole table kind of laughed at me. And this one guy specifically, I'll never forget, he said, less than 3% of SAG actually makes a living, and there's really no work for black actors. And there wasn't a lot back then, full transparency. But I didn't say anything, but I remember looking dead down that guy, and I was like, in my head, I said, well, then I'm going to be part of that 3%. And that was like, that kind of stuff fuels me.
Oh yeah.
And, fast forward, here we are. So that's kind of how it started.
That's amazing. What an incredible journey you have had, and open doors for you. That's just crazy how much the race played into it. Even back then, it's sad to think that that was just 1981, but we're coming a long way, and you've obviously been a part of that. So that's amazing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and real quick, Amy, because I know we're both into that, because I think it's important. It wasn't fast, but God certainly took me to the top. And I remember intentionally, just give the cliff version of it. I knew of what was possibly in Hollywood, and I affectionately call Hollywood Holly Weird. It's definitely the devil's playground. I've referred to it as that as well. And I knew of the temptations and stuff like that. And I specifically, when I was getting ready to move to Hollywood, which was later on, it was several years later in my journey, I was doing a show. I was a stuntman on a show called Police Academy 4. I did 3, 4, and 5. But I made some friends on that show. One friend who said, hey, you can come stay at my house. And another friend who I literally specifically chose to protect myself. He was really into triathlons. I didn't know what that was at the time. He was into Fit for Life. He was into all of this healthy stuff. And this was my friend. So I said, that's perfect, because I didn't want to get mixed in with the wrong crowd. And it really was my only outlet,
Wow.
and one day I'll never forget, he was like, hey dude, come on over to my house, there's some girls over here, and we're having a party, and there's an extra girl and she's alone and blah blah blah. So I came over there and found out that he was a big time cocaine dealer,
Oh my
and it was like leading a double life. And that was the beginning of the end, because it was just like, started as a just why not, and before you knew it, I was like off and running, because it was just, it got real bad real quick. So
So you
the
started using cocaine from that
oh,
time?
well, started partying like a rock star. That was my
Yeah.
job. And then God, as quickly as he took me to the top, took it all away, and so I went through 17 years of my life, where I like to now, I joke that, I got several Academy Award performances as a narcissistic, drug addict, alcoholic. Just I killed that role. I, I took that role to the top,
So 17 years you stayed stuck in an addiction cycle with drugs and alcohol and narcissism. And what was the thing? What brought you out of that lifestyle once and for all? And here's another question. Did you try to stop during that 17 years?
I tried to stop every 5 days.
Wow.
It was a vicious cycle. For me, because I've always been into fitness. So me, like literally for 17 years, Amy, it was like this. It was like I would, I would go out and party. And it was interesting, because from the minute I took that first hit, I was like, I couldn't have stopped, but I was miserable. And that's how I know God had a bigger calling for me, because I just hated it. But I didn't even enjoy it. I just hated it. And I literally would see, like, what I would attribute to, I'd see what I call white and dark. When I was partying, it was dark. It was black. I would run into people. It was like you could see it was demonic. It literally was demonic. And then when I would get sober, it would become white and become bright. And like different people would come. It was really crazy. It was that black and white. But I literally would go out and party like a rock star, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. And then I would stop and I'd go to the gym. and I'd go for 3 or 4 or 5 days, and that was like, see, I'm good, I got it. I wouldn't be able to, and I did that vicious cycle: party, gym, party, gym, party, gym, literally for 17 years, and it was challenging.
So were you still able to work at this time? Were you already a believer at this time? What was that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely affected my work. You know, I mean, crazy tough. I mean, I can remember getting all the way to a producer meeting, which is next to impossible. And you're going in the room with the executives, the producers. It's the final five actors they've chosen. I'm going in, I got coke all around my nose,
Oh my
like
goodness.
just
Wow.
because I'd be partying all. It's like it's so. It's back in the day when I was doing that, Amy, and still to this day, I mean, I say, if there's a devil, and we know there's a devil, that is his drug for sure. That, like cocaine, and then next level would be crystal meth, and that, like, because I would be like even today, I know better, right? But like, as I'm sitting here talking to you right now, Amy, as I am the person that I've evolved to over the years of personal growth and working and not being narcissistic anymore, and the person that Amy, I'm just telling you, if I was to break down and just do one hit like that, your personality changes. You start thinking things you would have never thought 2 minutes ago. You would do things you would never do 2 minutes ago. It's show like, and we should say trigger alert on this podcast for anybody,
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
it
Yeah.
is not cool in any way, shape, or form.
And were you a believer during this time, or did you come to Christ after?
I came to Christ through that process.
Wow. Wow.
That was, I tell you, a unique story on that was pretty cool. I had many situations, but the one I remember most specifically was I was in a dark, dingy bar, not even a cool one. I was by myself. Um, I was high. I was high as a kite. I was doing shots of tequila because that's what I used to do to balance it out. Tequila and Long Island iced teas. And I was just sitting there bitching and complaining. My agent sucks. My manager sucks. I just fired another agent, a manager. And there was this guy, and the whole bar was black. It was dark. It's funny I never choose and now I'm telling the story. And right next to me, the whole time, was sitting this one guy, and he was all dressed in white. And I was just like bitching all night to this guy. And he just sat there and listened. And I kept offering him a drink. And he was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. And he just like listened to me for hours. And then at the end of it, he says to me, he says, because I kept bitching about my manager. That's what I was bitching about. I was just bitching. I was pointing fingers at everybody else, why I wasn't having success and why they didn't see me and blah, blah, blah. And he says to me, he says, have you ever thought of asking God to be your manager? And I was like, yeah, that's a great idea, dude. Like, because that was the farthest thing from what I could ever imagine, right? And he was like, no, I'm serious. He said that was back in the day when we had big blotters on our desks, you make notes. And he said, you should go home, take out a piece of paper and write out a contract with God and ask him to manage your life, manage your career, and sign it and put it under the blotter. And I was like, yeah, okay, buddy, I'll run right home and do that tonight. Right. So, and about 5 years went by.
Wow.
But he planted a seed, and I was in my apartment. I was horizontal. My heart was blowing out of my body. I was so high. I was literally crawling just to try to get, like, I couldn't even stand up. And I was like crawling, stupid what you think. Let me just get one more bump and maybe that'll straighten me out. And all of a sudden, I remembered that guy. I remember that guy in the bar.
I've got
Yeah,
chills. I've got
yeah,
chills.
yeah,
That's amazing. 5 years later,
yeah. And I
that
wrote
one
that contract.
contract, that one seed that one man planted sitting at, was he an angel? Do you wonder?
I think he was.
That is amazing. Okay. I'm sorry. Keep on with your story.
No, no. And so I wrote out the contract, and it didn't just go like that,
Right.
but it was the beginning.
Yeah.
I wrote out the contract and started to do more of this and less of that. And actually, Mr. Blanks will actually be at our event. And somebody said, "Man, you got to come check out this class and stuff." And I went, and I had met him before, and God spoke to me through him. And he
Wow.
said, "Why are you wasting your time?" Like, he was talking to the class, and he was, "Why are you wasting your time?" And I was kind of like I was still high in that class at that time, because I was coming down, getting back into working out, that whole process I was doing. And he was like, "Why are you wasting your time? You're better than that." He said, Why are you wasting the gifts that I'm giving you?" And like, to me, it was like, "Oh,
How did he know?
I think he's talking to me." Like, wow. I'm like, and and then I met my wife, and
What year was this? 94, 5?
oh boy, my
Oh,
wife would know exactly. I'm the
oh,
worst with years.
yeah.
But we could figure that out. So we've been married 22, it'll be 23 years in November, and we kind of knew each other 7 years. So 30 years. So it would be about 30 years ago. And like I said, I was a big time narcissist, and pretty much got whatever I wanted, and I met this woman, Michelle, who's now my wife, and she was the first woman to stand up to me. And she was like, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but you're not talking to me like that. And she like walked out. And I was like, whoa, who do you're not walking out on me. And she goes, "Oh, yes, I."
Watch me.
Yeah.
It ain't
And
it's like that.
yeah. And so, she was a huge part of that. And then I was also going through the process. I went through the process, Amy. I was like, man, I did the Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. I did the Pentecost. I did the extreme Pentecost. I was searching, Buddhists. I did it all. I did the extreme Pentecost. You get one suit, a broken down car, and you like, I went all levels.
I'm broke.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm
yeah,
talking about, but that's hilarious.
yeah. But I
But
was
clearly that
searching.
didn't work for you. That wasn't the right way.
Yeah, no. And then thank God I found it. And so, yeah, it's kind of crazy. We could talk for weeks on that, but that's kind of the cliff version. I think you get the
That
idea.
is, well, it's fascinating because what I just find so unique about that story and just hearing it, I've never heard that level of your testimony, is how
Not many
powerful.
people have, by the way.
Oh, well, now they will. So I'm glad that needs to be out, because really we're, as Christians, we're Christ's ambassador. And I love the fact that there was that one person in that bar who sat and let you be you, and still he didn't shove Christ down your throat. But that was such an important seed for you in that moment, in that time, in that we really, as ambassadors, as lights for Christ, wow, if we can remember how that one small thing literally impacted the rest of your life, that will go forward and use our voices, look for the hurting people and offer them the solution that we already have. Our lives
Mhm.
aren't perfect. Obviously, we still make mistakes. Obviously, sometimes you have to like have that disclaimer, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's so
Yeah.
powerful. And you're forced to be reckoned with right now. Like, it's so exciting to see what the Lord is doing in you and through you, and the reasons why that you've got. So we're going to announce what you've got coming up, but I didn't want to interrupt you. What were you saying?
No, I was saying I totally agree because I remember specifically one time my pastor said he was like, you'll meet him. It's a church that we're having our thing, and he gets fired up, so and he likes to go, I'm not the angry elf, I'm just passionate is his favorite thing that he likes to say. And one day he was getting on the what's the word I'm looking for, on the church, the people in the church. And basically his message was, which goes in alignment with what you were just saying, he was saying that he said God doesn't need no more preachers. He said he needs you all to show up and share your story. He goes,
Mhm.
somebody needs to hear your story.
Right.
And we all think our stories don't matter. We think if we're not a Amy Ramsey, if we're not a Réal Andrews, or if you're not a Tom Brady, or if you're not this, that you don't matter, you're not important. But no, everybody has a story, and it's there when we recognize it. Unfortunately, most of us look at it as, why me? Why, there was a time when I did that. But like even now, if you hear me, I say I'm blessed
Mhm.
with bipolar. Like a
Mhm.
lot of people are like, what the heck are you talking about? Blessed? That's not a blessing. I go, yeah, it is. Because you know what I'm saying? It's set me up so that when I can recognize, hopefully, and be there for other people.
That's right. That's right. Okay, well, we keep alluding to this thing we got coming up. Oh my gosh, this is not just a thing, it's the thing that you're gonna want to be a part of, right? All of our
Yes.
listeners, they're like, they need to be a part of this. I'm so excited to announce about this amazing event coming up in May. So do you want to share a little bit about Get Real Tech?
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. So it is the women's empowerment event of 2023. It's going to be phenomenal. We have over 15 powerful speakers, including Amy Ramsey is
So
one of
excited,
them.
so
But
honored.
yeah, you just got to go to the website and check out these powerful women. And we have a couple powerful guys too, as well. We got some celebrity surprise guests coming. We got Maurice Bernard from General Hospital. We got Cameron Matheson from Extra, and he's was All My Children. Now he's on General Hospital as well. That's icing on the cake, really, in my opinion. The women speakers, and we now have also Pastor Tanner is going to be speaking a powerful message as well. It's just incredible. And honestly, you can come virtually, you can come in person. I recommend in person. All the coaches are going to be in person, but whatever. And we have a VIP pack, and it's gonna be insane. It's going to be huge. We got free daycare for moms. We want them to be able to focus. And we got special needs daycare as well, which is cool. They have one of the only sensory rooms in the United States, which is awesome. And
Awesome.
you're not going to want to miss it.
No.
Really, if you're serious about my thing for 2023 is let's be 3% better. But whether it's 1% better or whatever it is for you, if you're serious about that, you need to be at this event. I mean, like the ticket prices are ridiculous,
So
honestly,
ridiculous. So
right?
ridiculous.
It's
Yeah.
like $59 for virtual, $97 for VIP. Like the coaches that are there, you couldn't get one of those coaches in a normal scenario for that price. It's ridiculous,
No.
So
Yeah. It's going to be epic. Like if you're looking for a way to improve your spiritual life and to find that extra the tools, the skills to move forward in your life, and you're a woman, this is your event. And it's so important to invest in yourself. So if you might be thinking, oh, well, sure, I'm going to do the virtual event and that's what works for me. Great. Do the virtual event. But I want to share with you that when I started to invest in myself, when I really started to say, okay, you know what? I'm actually worthy of this investment. And I know that once I make this investment and I go forward, especially something that's out of my city, then I'm fully there. And I started to see massive results in my own life because of those investments. So I want to encourage you that if you need that breakthrough, if you need some extra tools and you need some extra help to move forward in your life, God's calling you for more, come to the event, like get a ticket, come out to LA, come and stay, come meet all of us. We would love to meet with you. We'd love to connect with you. We would love to help you and encourage you on your walk with the Lord so you can be all that God's calling you to be. So come on out there with us, or if not, get a VIP ticket or virtual ticket, either way, but plan on it. And we're both so excited about this, both passionate about helping you and your walk and in your life with the Lord.
Yeah, we like to say, God didn't create you to be small. He created you to be courageous. And we like to say, be boldacious. So just show up and you'll get everything you need to be boldacious and walk into your power, like Amy said. And I think Amy, do you want me to say the website, or are you going to put your own link in there? You have your own link, right?
I can put my own link, and we can go ahead and say it too, but it's easy. The website itself is getrealtakeaction.com, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll put my link in the show notes, a direct link, so you can go and grab your VIP ticket or your regular ticket. And for sure, let us know if you're going to be there so we can be on the lookout for you. And it's going to be pretty awesome. And I love the honor that you're doing this for. Can you share that as we close?
Yeah, real quick. So I've always known I'm going to do something. It's actually been prophesized over me 3 times. And at the end of December, the last week in December, in my prayer time, God said 2023. And I was like, okay. I didn't know the how, the what, the where, the why. And then really quickly, when I said yes, he said May 18th, because that's my mom's birthday. And so we're doing it in honor of my mom. And then he said, you're going to have 12 speakers. We have over 15 now. And it just blew up. And I remember saying I was thinking originally, Amy, I'm going to start this with a little room somewhere. I'm going to fly somewhere, maybe 100 people or whatever. And then we said, let's see how big God wants us to be. And now we have it's blown up. It's just insane. You really don't want to miss this.
You don't want to miss this. And I love what you just said. I just want to unpack that just a little bit, because I think this is really important. God put this in your heart. So this means it's a calling. And when God puts something in our heart, we have a responsibility to obey. It's never easy. It always requires courage over fear. We never feel ready. We never feel quite like we're ready to go, that we know exactly what to do and we know exactly what to say. You guys, moving forward in your calling takes courage, and you just got to go. I love Moses' story of, I don't know what to say, Lord. They won't listen to me, Lord. This is a very human thing. If you're feeling like this is just because he's famous and celebrity, he's doing. No, have you been scared along the way?
Amy, let me tell you something. I got to be full transparency, because that's what we do. That's what I do. Anyways, I have been scared. You know what? I mean, honestly, full transparency, I'm literally losing sleep over this every night. And every day, I have to remind myself 2 things. God's got it. And remember, he's got you through it before. He'll get you through it again, because I am telling you, full transparency. And also, I know at 60 years old, I know better. The more scary it is, the more I start to second guess myself and doubt myself. I know good enough to just stay and keep moving forward. But I'm going to be full transparency. It's scary as hell. Yeah. It's scary as hell. And it's like, if I didn't have those tools and those beliefs, if I didn't have my dad speaking over me, we have a saying, Andrews, we don't know quit, we don't spell quit. Mm-hmm. And, stuff like that. But yeah, it is scary as hell. And, we're talking about this event here, but whatever it is in your life, whatever you're being called to do, and, I guess I'll wrap it up this way. I remember once, my first company I ever joined, It was a very I never got to meet him, but they made this four CD thing. And I literally built my first 7-figure business off this CD. I became a parrot. I played this CD all the time. And I'll never forget when in the first CD, this guy, his name was Charlie Regis, he said, the minute you decide to do something great, the minute you decide to improve your health, the minute you decide to improve your wealth, the minute you decide to improve your marriage, anything you decide to do to take yourself in the positive, you just better say, thank you, Jesus, amen, and get ready because the enemy is coming, and he's coming hard.
Yes. He's coming hard for you. And you know what? The powerful thing with that is that he comes and he's a sucker puncher. Where you have those thoughts of inadequacy, or I'm not good enough, or and the insecurities, the biggest insecurity that you've got, that's where he's going to come right for that. Who do you think you are to do something like this? You're not capable of this. And that's what he does to all of us, but he's mean about it. Like he might even use people in your own family to like chip away at your own confidence. But I just want to honor you for Réal, for listening to God, obeying God, moving forward. And it's so fun to watch all of the doors fly open. And I'm just going to pray over you for your sleep and your peace, and just against the enemy. So thank you. We're excited. Come join us for this event. We're so excited. And how can everyone connect with you? Can you go ahead and shout out your Instagram handle and Facebook and all the things?
Yeah, it's real simple. I keep it simple. Everything is at Réal Andrews. My website is realandrews.com. That's where you can connect with me for sure. But all my social media is at Réal Andrews.
You got to spell that for them, though.
Oh, Real Andrews. So Réal, just think real Andrews.
Looks like real. Yeah, like real. Yeah. It has been such an honor to have you today as a guest. Thank you for what you're doing. And I'm so excited to see you and meet you in person in May 18th through the 20th in LA, y'all.
Yeah.
LA.
Amen. Let's go. See you there.
Okay. Thanks so much, Réal. Girlfriend, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm so honored you come back every week and that you share the Fit Soul podcast with your friends and family. Every time you share my podcast on Instagram or Facebook, I do a little happy dance. Make sure you subscribe to the Fit Soul podcast where you'll never miss an episode. You can go to Podcast, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify and subscribe so you'll never miss an episode release. And just know, I truly love bringing you excellent content and great guests to provide you motivation and faith inspiration to help you walk worthy. And one of the ways you can help me is to go and leave the Fit Soul podcast a review. If you have just a moment, would you please go over and leave a review for the Fit Soul podcast? Thank you again. I love you. And here is your reminder. You are worthy. Until next time. Bye-bye.